There's a train going by. Cannot believe I haven't made a video about this journal yet. I found it out in the woods last summer, and I just kept it all to myself until just now. No, I got this at the bookstore last Christmas, kind of as a gift to myself, and look at that tape. Is that really on there? You just don't know. Yes, journal number 3 from the show on Disney, Gravity Falls. It's one of my favorite shows, honestly. It's a really good cartoon. If you haven't seen it, I don't know what you're doing. Especially if you're into cartoons like I am. But even if you're not, check it out. It's really good. There's a note from the creator of the show. His words look like they're glowing. This first page is kind of creepy, right? Nice and thick. Parks Department, State of Oregon. Please take this cursed thing off our hands. Oh, it's mine now. Property of... I will give no spoilers. Ad Astra Pen Aspera. June 18th. It's hard to believe it's been 6 years since I began searching the strange and wondrous secrets of Gravity Falls, Oregon. In all my travels, never have I observed so many curious things. Gravity Falls is indeed a geographical oddity. Just gonna flip through some pages, see if I find anything interesting. Floating eyeballs. There's a title, part of the intro. Desmod's rotundus is small, short-haired, and evenly tempered. Nothing like Gravity Falls. Thing doesn't look too even-tempered to me, but okay. Somebody was playing X's and O's. Probably Mabel. Ah, yes, gnomes. Definitely a higher threat than vampires or zombies. Common height is 10 to 18 inches. This includes the hat. They refuse to move their hats. Did they have pointy heads? They're kind of cute. Unkempt beards. Weakness, leaf blowers. And they crossed out that question mark because that's a definite yes. I'm allowed to spoil a little bit, aren't I? I mean, the show's from like 2012. You should have watched it by now. At 8 years, come on. Anyway, never would I have believed that a simple doorway could spell your doom. But I have seen several tourists go through ordinary-looking doors and simply disappear into thin air, never to be seen again. This phenomenon is unexplained. This one's really creepy. Cursed doors. Knock, knock. Who's there? The forces of evil. One briefly appeared in the basement. I lost my calculator inside. Oh, that's tragic. Sorry. Had to change position. It's kind of sitting on my foot. Cursed doors are a common component of life in Gravity Falls. The locals know which doors to avoid. Visitors are left to fend for themselves. No idea what that says. It's crossed out. The Tourist Bureau really should publish some sort of pamphlet. Note to self. Write letter to Tourist Bureau. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's his hand. That's right. Myself. As I've been cataloging these oddities, it has occurred to me that I have yet to turn the microscope on the oddity with which I am most intimately familiar, myself. If I succeed in publishing my theory, I am bound to become something of a public figure, so, for the sake of historical record, I should perhaps touch on the subject. Who am I? To put it simply, I am strange. I was born strange. I am attracted to the strange, and the strange has always been attracted to me. When I grew up, we were encouraged to follow rules and fit the mold. I recall finding a shrunken head in the family pawn shop and bringing it to show and tell. Every other student brought a football trophy, or a book about football. All of these objects were thrown at me as I gave my report. If my brother hadn't shielded me and punched one of the other kids in the nose, I might have spent the rest of the year in the hospital. When I was growing up, nothing I ever did was right. My grades were too high and my social skills were too low. Worst of all, I was born with a rare birth defect, 6 fingers on each hand. Although my family tried to convince me that this made me special, and it did help with shadow puppets, I was mocked by classmates and shunned by girls. I would hide in the library, poring over books about the supernatural and searching for other freaks of the world like me. I still recall reading about the Bermuda Triangle as a child. The thought of a place where you could just disappear into the unknown fascinated me. Perhaps it was luck, perhaps destiny, but I would have since found my very own Bermuda Triangle. Gravity Falls, the place where I fit in. It is here that I will find my grand theory and maybe find myself in the process. My muse. One thing about me, I have a secret. Although I have relied my entire life on my intuition and intelligence to provide me with answers, 2 years ago I experienced a miracle while napping in the forest, and that forever changed the way I think about the world and my place in it. I was contacted by a muse. I know it sounds crazy, but a strange being from a higher plane took sympathy with my search for knowledge and amazingly chose me to be a receptacle for divine and otherworldly insight. As preposterous as it sounds, this being has provided me, again and again, with eerily accurate tips and predictions that have aided me in my studies. Is this being a spirit, an alien, a dream, or merely part of my overactive imagination? Ultimately, interpretation is irrelevant. He is a fickle being who is unpredictable and only shows up when I least expect it. But I am always eager and ready for the next time he wishes to bestow his rare insights on my mind. Note to self, must keep this a complete secret. If anyone finds out about this, they will surely think I am insane, and my grant money may be revoked. It is best to leave this part of my research in the shadows. Now, back to my investigations. Note, burn this page after research is complete. And you know what? He didn't, so I'm reading this now. Oh, Mothman. Beard cubs. Mortal body. I don't remember these ever being in the show. I don't think that they were. That's actually really creepy. Oh man. It's a giant hand. Oh my gosh. Looks like some kind of, I don't know, it looks like tree bark. I don't know what that is. Well, apparently his name is Steve. I call it Steve because it really acts like a Steve. Okay. Remember, in Gravity Falls, there is no one you can trust. Trust no one. All right. Peace out. I'll see you in part 2. Yes, part 2.